Evening, San Francisco. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Mayor Breed has been hosting these town halls to answer some of your most pressing questions. And we've been getting a lot of questions about summer camps and youth programs as we near summertime. So tonight we are here to talk about what opportunities are still available for those who haven't signed up for summer programs yet, the public health guidance and information for children and youth attending these programs, and how we're looking toward the future and what it will mean to support children and youth in San Francisco as part of our recovery. So tonight we are joined by the Honorable Mayor London Breed, Maria Sue, Executive Director of the Department of Children, Youth, and their Families, Dr. Susan Phillip, Health Officer for the City and County of San Francisco, and Jamie Bruning Miles, President and CEO of the YMCA of San Francisco. Now, before we get to your questions, I'd like to offer Mayor Breed the opportunity to say a few words. Mayor.
Thank you, Tyra, and thank you all so much for joining us today. Earlier this year, we launched the Summer Together initiative to make sure that every San Francisco USD student has access to quality educational and recreational activities this summer. This includes in-person programs because after last summer, we saw how critical it really is for our kids, especially our public school students, to have these opportunities to learn and grow during the out-of-school months. We saw how while virtual programming works for some, it doesn't work for others. We work to bring together public and private partners to make this a reality for kids this summer, and I am so proud of this effort. And I am particularly proud of how community-based organizations and nonprofits have stepped up to help us achieve this incredible goal. This is why I wanted to host this discussion tonight, especially in light of new public health guidelines that were issued earlier this morning, which do impact our in-person summer programs, because it's important for us to be transparent about this process and share the latest information with you as soon as we have it. And I want to reassure you that we are still working to expand our summer programs, especially our in-person programs. But we are also making sure that every child and young person will have resources available to support summer learning. With that, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you to the panelists. So let's get started.
Okay, so now that we're going to get into it, let me put my glasses on. I was trying to be a hero before. So this is to Marie and Jamie. Camp and childhood providers have greatly reduced capacities to serve San Francisco youth this summer. Outside of the Summer Together initiative, what other free and low-cost options are available for high-needs families, especially for those families for whom language was a barrier to registration for Summer Together?
I'll take this first. Thank you, Mayor Breed, for hosting this town hall. We've also, from Department of Children, Youth, and Families, have heard a lot of these questions and have been trying to our best to answer these questions to our families. And so this venue will definitely help us get the message out. Before I start, I just want to thank San Francisco for doing such a great job in following the health guidance and getting yourself vaccinated, because this morning, Dr. Phillip announced a really, really fantastic update to the health order. And with that update to the health order, what that allows us in our department to do is go back and talk to our nonprofit agencies and our summer providers, summer camp providers, and say to them, there's some new health guidance that will allow more flexibility in the number of children that you can serve in your summer camps. Can you now add more children if your space allows it? The guidance also allows more flexibility to enroll children into your camps that really reflect the needs of our families. Can you help change those things? And so because of these big major changes, we believe that we will be able to expand some additional slots for our families. And so, yes, it has been difficult to enroll in summer programming this past couple of months. But as we help families enroll, what we're realizing is that the options are still there for a lot of families. As a matter of fact, we still have 1,000 private camp slots still available for families. So for those who are still interested, please go on our website, dcyf.org/summer-together, and look through our list of different nonprofit agencies as well as the private camps. And starting on Monday, you'll be able to register for any of those programs.
Thank you, Maria. And first of all, Tyra, thank you for moderating tonight. And the mayor, I really appreciate the invite and hosting as well. It's important to recognize I represent one of 67 youth-serving community-based organizations in San Francisco under the Summer Together initiative, one of 67. It's important that we work together, and the help and partnership DCYF, DPH, all the other partners in the city are allowing us to pivot and focus on our youth this summer through the Summer Together initiative. Without private partnerships, we would not be where we are now. And we got to thank the mayor's vision, a youth-focused, family-centered vision that allows us to recover quicker, as CBOs have been through a lot in the last year. We've also learned that together, we do powerful work. The learning hubs that started last year when we first pivoted is a national model that was started here in San Francisco. So the ability to move forward, to do the Summer Together initiative, to have the resources, thank you, Mayor, for doing that. It's important for all of us, important for our youth and families. Now at the Y, we do have openings. We are in recovery as many CBOs in this summer. So it's not the summer of in the past. So there will be a little bit diminished capacity, but it does exist. And most CBOs in San Francisco have multi-language capacity, ability to deal with community, draw staff from community. So there are other options available to you. So please join DCYF. Please go on the website and look at all the providers such as the YMCA, but know that we're in this together, and thank you for your support.
And Maria, aren't we still hiring teachers for our summer programming? So we're hiring educators, teachers, community members. So please look into that as well.
Absolutely, Mayor. Oops, Tyra, you're on mute.
And am I correct in saying that the website is dcyf.org/summer-together?
That's correct.
Great, great. Okay, Mayor. So how do we ensure the sustainability of critical services, as it will take more than one summer to address the learning loss created over the past year?
Well, definitely, we know that. And I think that the biggest concern we all had was the fact that, schools have not opened for the entire year. And we're hoping that when schools reopen, fingers crossed this fall, that, not only will the work that we do in the summer continue, it would need to continue for some time. Kids are struggling, and they've fallen further and further behind. So we're going to need to make some significant investments in our children, and I'll be making some big announcements in my upcoming budget to support an increase in investment so that we can address the challenges around learning loss and the need for support, but also mental health support is something that's been really important to me with kids who are going through trauma and other issues within their families. I think this is just one of the many things that we're going to do, just like we started the hubs from scratch, because certain kids needed places to go because they weren't getting the support that they needed at home. We've expanded even these hubs to create this whole summer of learning program where it's modeled on work that I actually did in the community when I served as the executive director of the African American Art and Culture Complex through a program called Mo Magic, because we recognized that our children were basically losing what they were learning over the years when they took that summer break. And so this is a program, Maria, you were a part of this when we started it, that is just being expanded to meet the needs citywide. And we've been able to fundraise both privately and provide investments in my budget. But ultimately, we're going to need to continue this and enhance our programs, increase the number of beacon centers we have, provide the number of community-based resources, so that when kids are finished with school, they have a place to go and they have a place to learn and to thrive. So we're going to continue these investments past the summer for sure.
Great, yes. And I had the opportunity to visit a learning hub. They were really instrumental with socialization as well. Dr. Phillip, do community-based organizations still need to follow the 3-week guidelines?
Thank you so much for the question, Tyra, and thank you, Mayor, for the invitation to join you and for being with all the other esteemed panelists. So this was part of what Director Sue was saying, is that as part of the changes that were announced today and are effective today, we are continuing to say that if possible, 3 weeks is a good idea, but it's no longer required as a minimum. That is what is going to allow families that flexibility, and community-based organizations and others the flexibility to offer 1 week opportunities or even drop-in classes and care. And so that is what we're able to do now, because our cases are so low in San Francisco that we're able to reduce those minimum requirements and give more flexibility to families.
And Maria, can you talk about the drop-in part of things? Because that's going to be really important for people. I know I was a drop-in kid. I would drop into the centers all the time when I was growing up, and that was really important for me because sometimes kids don't have that home structure to be in an organized program.
Absolutely. And the reason that we had this 3 week requirement before was a good one from a public health standpoint. It was reducing the number of different people that a child might come in contact with and potentially be exposed to COVID-19. But now with our cases so low, the risk is so minimal that we can say it is fine for you to drop in and have a new child, new student in your program for a day when they need to be there and they could benefit from it. And it's wonderful to be able to give that opportunity to kids. So thank you, Mayor, for pointing out how important that is.
So I know that San Francisco is doing really well with the vaccinations, and there have been a lot of questions about masks. This is to Dr. Phillip, do fully vaccinated teachers need to be masked outdoors with a group of children? Will children need to be masked outdoors for summer programs?
Well, you know, masks have been one of the mainstays of how we have protected ourselves in our city. Vaccines have taken over as the primary way that we are going to defeat COVID-19 and have been, and we're doing a fantastic job at that. And although we have now expanded vaccine access just a week ago, as soon as we were able to 12 to 15-year-olds, all of the kids that are under 12 still have not been vaccinated. So for the time being, those children should wear a mask when they are together and outdoors in close contact with each other. We're continuing to talk with the state. I've heard from so many parents that would like to be able to remove those masks for their kids. And we may be getting there, but we need to talk with the state and see what they recommend. Teachers who are vaccinated don't necessarily need to wear the mask for themselves, but again, they are going to be with other children who are unvaccinated, and probably to just set an example and be doing the same thing as the kids, it makes sense to wear the mask outdoors. But in most settings, adults who are vaccinated do not need to wear a mask outdoors, and that's another big change that we were able to do in the past few weeks.
So just to follow up to that, Dr. Phillip, will they be required is the question.
They will not necessarily be required outdoors to be wearing the mask. All of us are required indoors to still wear the mask because California has elected to wait until June 15th to follow the CDC guidance that removed the requirement indoors. So in San Francisco, rest of California, all of us need to wear them indoors. Vaccinated adults are not required to wear them outdoors, except in very limited settings, like if you're in a large crowd.
Right.
And I just share that is such fantastic news for all of our outdoor sports programs. Oh my goodness. So young people can play tennis, can play soccer, basketball. Now with this new flexibility in the health guidance, we can actually do that without our mask on.
And in the playgrounds.
And in the playground.
The connection to nature has to be important this summer. So incredible news, Dr. Phillip.
Okay, so I have a scenario that was presented. This is to Mayor Breed and Maria. So I started a new outdoor education program for social emotional learning. I do not know how to apply for funding. Are there grants to help make my effort sustainable?
I'll leave that to Maria.
That's wonderful that people are taking it upon themselves to start programs to serve our children and families in the city. Unfortunately, at this time, DCYF does not have any funding opportunities available. However, if you have never received any funding from the city, please go on our website, once again, dcyf.org, and you can look at our website for funding, and you can read the Doing Business with DCYF to learn about how you can become an approved vendor with the city and fill out all the necessary paperwork so that when we have grant opportunities, you'll be ready to do that.
The other option is that person could probably be hired by one of the programs to do the program that she's doing. So that could be a option to make it available for the summer.
Fantastic point. And this goes full circle to how for Summer Together initiative, we are looking to hire thousands of people to serve all of these children in our city this summer. So for anyone who's still looking for a job out there, please contact your local nonprofit agency. Go on the Summer Together website and you'll see the availabilities, the form, and please join and support and help. It'll be a fantastic summer for all of these children.
And Maria, what you're saying too is partner providers are part of our agreement to provide extended other activities. So they could be a partner provider of one of the CBOs as well. I think that Mayor was saying as well.
That's right. Right.
Yep.
You could be a partner or subcontractor under a nonprofit.
So originally I was just going to ask this question of Maria, but I think I want to bring Jamie in on this next question. Why don't any of the private camps in Summer Together allow kids with disabilities to join a camp? And what are kids with disabilities supposed to do?
I'm going to have Maria tackle that one first.
Yes, and we fully recognize that we do have families who have children with disabilities, and that we definitely want to provide as many opportunities for our families with children with disabilities. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that when we started the Summer Together initiative, we actually outreached to approximately 130 private camps that registered within San Francisco that said that they were doing some type of private camp programming in the city. Of the 130 private camps, we received around 40 private camps that expressed interest to participate in the Summer Together initiative. After we reviewed those 40 camps, we ended up partnering with only 25 of them. Because once again, we want to make sure that these are quality camps that we were working with. And within the 25 camps, there were only 5 camps that said that they had the ability and the capacity to serve children with disabilities. So programs like Camp Edmo and Renegade Girls indicated that they had the staffing resources to serve children with disabilities. We also have CBOs like the YMCA that have a phenomenal track record of serving children with disabilities. And so I would strongly recommend families with children with disabilities to please go on our website, look through the listings of private camps, or go to our CBO, because a lot of our CBO partners have hired amazing staff to serve this population. Jamie?
And we hire what's called inclusion specialists to make it easier for families to navigate the options available, even outside our organization. So please reach out to us, talk to one of our inclusion specialists, and find the great placement for your child or youth. And that's how we navigate that. So it's not something you navigate on your own. We help you navigate that to find the best option for you available.
I also want to mention that Rec and Park, the Recreations and Parks Department, also have a fantastic inclusion program for children with disabilities. I do acknowledge that there are not as many slots, but Rec and Park has a very firm commitment in serving this population as well.
So the YMCA and Rec and Park look to those as potential options.
Correct.
And a few of our private camps. So those 2 that I just mentioned still have slots.
Right.
So Camp Edmo and Renegade Girls still have slots.
Great. Okay, so this is our final question. So I signed up for a program and I was waitlisted for a program that was filled up. What do I do?
So
Maria, aren't we going to be adding some more slots now that the health orders changed?
exactly. So the mayor just stole my thunder. So hang tight, hang tight. Don't lose hope. We will circle back with you. We are going through our list right now of all the families that were waitlisted at the Recreation and Parks Department. We are working very closely with those families to secure to get them a private camp slot. And as I shared on Monday, we are going to release another 1,000 private camp slots for families. But for those who are still waitlisted, hold on, go back into into the website and let us know that you're still very interested in getting a slot, and we'll come back and reach out to you.
Because right now, before the health order, we had limitations in terms of the number of kids. Now it's not just expanding the cohorts, but it's also the drop-ins. So that's exciting news. That means instead of the 26,000 kids that we were going to serve, we might be able to increase that to 30,000 or so.
A little bit more.
Okay. And also, what are we doing about lunch? Because we know all these health requirements, and the free lunch program was everything for me as a kid. And regardless of a program, I want to make sure that kids are able to go to any of their, rec and park sites, YMCA, and no one's turned away for a free lunch. So, and snacks, because they used to have really good snacks too. So tell me what we're doing for the kids this summer, because I know there's health order guidance and all this stuff that gets in the way of our ability to serve like we have in the past.
Well, with the health order, we do want to make sure that our kids are served, are fed and kept healthy. Part of the beauty of the philanthropic partnership with Summer Together is that we have resources to ensure that every single young person that's partnering with us or participating in summer will have a breakfast, snack, and a lunch.
Oh,
so I know. Thank
So
you,
important.
Mayor. Thank you so much, Mayor.
we didn't have breakfast. We only had lunch. We'd have to wait, and then we'd be standing there in line waiting for that lunch to come. And then it would come in this little rectangular thing with all the little hot lunches and then the other things. And then we have a snack with a juice. So breakfast is a game changer.
We're gonna have to bring you to another site visit. Well, just wanted to, not to brag too much, but some sites might even have supper.
Oh,
yeah. So we're talking about really supporting our marginalized families who really need the additional supports, because we know food insecurity is a big deal and it's legit, it's real in our city. And so we wanted to make sure that those children who really need that additional support will have it. Yeah. And they have it because Mayor Breed advocated for it, and she helped us secure those additional funds for that.
And because as a former community-based organization executive director, I remember how much money I used to spend on food because kids would come to the center always hungry, always in a bad mood. And I discovered they didn't eat lunch at school. Well, why didn't you eat lunch at school? I didn't have any money. Well, why didn't you sign up for the free program? Well, I don't know what the process is. I mean, just there's a disconnect. These are not kids that have support from family. So they're just figuring out and navigating the system. And so one of the things that was important is to always have food available to make sure kids are being fed. And so I'm really glad to hear we're still able to do it, even though I thought we might have some challenges with our health orders in light of COVID. But Dr. Phillip, is it okay? We could serve food. We're not going to get in trouble.
Feeding kids, making sure that they are well fed and active and socialized is a part of health as well. And because the entire city has done so well in getting vaccinated, we are now at the point where the restrictions are so much looser, and kids are able to eat together. We just need them to be a little bit apart from each other when they're eating without their masks off, but that's no problem to do.
And let me also add, because we did not mention my program that is everything to me, Opportunities for All. We want to make sure that money is not a barrier to opportunity. And part of the program Opportunities for All ensures that every high school student in San Francisco who wants a paid internship during the summer can get one. So the people who are going to be serving those lunches are the teenagers, right? The people who are going to be helping with our programs are the teenagers. There are, of course, other opportunities to work in other companies, but I want to make sure that if you have a kid who's in high school in San Francisco, that they sign up for Opportunities for All, because they could get paid and they could get a reward and experience. Because you know how teenagers are, they think they're too cool for an organized program. Like they're too cool to, but if they're working and they have a responsibility, then it's a whole nother ball game. So let's make sure you get your teenagers signed up so that we can keep them actively engaged in some activity during the summer as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a riveting conversation, and I would love to hang out more and talk about it, but alas, we have to conclude. This concludes tonight's town hall. I encourage everyone out there, if you have any further questions, you can email us at mayorlondonbreed@sfgov.org, or please call 311. We want to thank you all for joining us again, and take care and be safe. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you,
Tyra.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Bye, Tyra.
Bye.